All right, welcome to White Hat versus Black Hat SEO show. My name is Josh Bachynski. Today, Chase, I don't know where he is. He's gone somewhere. He's traveled off in California land to, who knows, he's having margaritas with the Red Hot Chili Peppers or something along those lines. But that's fun because today I have with me Steve Fantasia. Steve, say hi.
Hey, guys.
So Steve is a Facebook ad guru. And so we're very lucky to have Steve today because, of course, you may not have realized, I mean, not you, Steve, but the people listening may not have realized that there's this other traffic thing called Facebook that not all of your traffic has to come from Google. In fact, some of your traffic can come from Facebook. So that's why it's great that we have Steve here today. And Steve's going to talk to us a little bit about Facebook ads, how to do Facebook ads. There's a way that Facebook wants you to do it. And then there's the way that Steve knows how to do it, which he's going to tell us is much better and gets you a lot more traffic a lot faster. And actually, we've done some tests ourselves, Steve and I, and we're getting very, very good results. And so that's actually a pretty interesting kind of thing that we could talk about that or not talk about that, either way. And also, seeing that we're down a man, we could use another person in here, man, woman, or transgendered friend, whomever you might be. If you want to join the Hangout, say so in the chat, and I'll send you the URL, and you can ask us your SEO and Facebook questions live on air. Do you have SEO problems? Are you having trouble ranking? Are dinosaurs plaguing your site? If so, are other dinosaurs plaguing your Facebook ads? If so, we can possibly help troubleshoot what's going on as much as we can on air. There's only certain things we can do on air, and there's only so deep we can go on air. So if you have questions, ask them in the chat. If you have a camera and a microphone, you want to be part of the Hangout, by all means, go say in the chat that you would like that, and I could paste the URL in the chat, and you could join the live Hangout. And Chase, of course, could always join us. I've sent him out the information, and so he might just jump in like Batman. He might swoop in on a tiny little cable that you don't how did that possibly hold his weight? But anyway, I won't debate the comic book physics of Batman with you on this
Tensile strength of wire.
But he might swoop in like Batman at the last second is what I'm saying. So anyway, so getting to the show. So I'd like to start off with what's new in Black Hat and what's new in White Hat SEO, as I often do. And to that end, I've got some notes here I'd like to go over. So first off, our good friend, John Mueller from Google, had a hangout recently, February 10th, actually. And he said some very interesting things in that hangout, a couple of which I'd like to share. First off, he admitted this. It was very interesting. He was basically asked, what's more important, links or quality? Or to put it another way, if you're having quality issues, would the links even matter? Would you even rank at that point in time? And John Mueller said that, believe it or not, quality trumps links. That's to say, quality is more important than links. That quality is kind of a final determination of whether you're going to rank or not, whether you have links or not. And of course, other White Hat SEOs have talked about this as well. Eric Eng has talked about this, even though he operates in an industry where they're quite often selling links and quite often all about links. Even venerable white hats like Eric Eng have admitted that without quality, it doesn't matter how many links you have, you're not going to rank. And then, so anyway, John Mueller went on to say he's admitted this before, and he readmitted this hangout that links are not required at all. You can rank sites without links entirely, and that text recommendations are good too. So if they're mentioning your URL in straight text, that's good too. And when all is more or less equal, it's more important that your website has more quality. And not only a little bit of quality, it has to be significantly better than the competition. So he mentioned that, one. Two, he mentioned about being mobile friendly. He said there's two things that have to do with being mobile friendly. One, it's the design, the internal linking, the layout, the content. This all affects your rankings. And this is all going to be important for when we're moving over to the mobile first index, right? So again, the design is important for rankings, and you have to watch that from desktop to mobile. The internal linking is important for rankings. The layout is important for rankings. That's to say the user interface, where things are, where they can click, and of course the content, the text, all affects the rankings. And 2, this will change. They're going to change when they start ranking your mobile site rather than your desktop site. So in case you haven't been listening to my recent Hangouts, let me just make sure it's clear that they're going to go moving over to the mobile first index very, very soon, sometime conceivably this year. And when they do that, they're going to be ranking your desktop site on the mobile site signals. So again, remember, that's layout, that's the design, that's the internal linking, that's the content of your mobile site. And that's going to affect the rankings of your desktop site. And so when they flip that switch, you could be in some trouble. Now, he said responsive sites that do responsive design should be fine because the same desktop and the mobile design is the same thing. They use the same code. There's just some CSS in there that says, if your width is like this, shrink the content in such a certain way. So it's the same content, the same linking per se. It is a different design and it is a different layout. So you do have to watch for that and make sure that that is all tickety-boo and helping users satisfy their search or whatever it is they're trying to do. Make sure you're allowing them to complete their tasks. And some people are using JavaScript to hide content on mobile. Again, that's not going to matter because they're going to read the whole thing. That change has probably already been made already. Okay, and finally, he did mention in this same Hangout something that was very interesting. A fellow there whose name was Manuel. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning his first name, but that was him. Whether he minds or not, I just did, so I hope he doesn't mind. But he mentioned his name on air, so I guess he doesn't mind it publicly. His name is Manuel, and he claimed something very interesting. He claimed that after submitting a page to get indexing from Google, that after he submits a page, he gets higher traffic in the next few hours. This is very interesting. John Mueller said that if you've never seen the page, he didn't say no, that doesn't happen. In fact, he said, okay, that could possibly happen. He said if they've never seen the page before, they do split testing. They do send it some traffic to see how well it's going to do and where they should put it in their algorithms translation to see what the users do if they get good user clicks, right? They think it's a page about XYZ, and so they're going to send traffic to it who are looking for XYZ and see if they click, if they terminate. They can tell how much the traffic enjoys it by what they do with the page. And John Mueller also went further to admit that they have something called Google ranking inertia. That's what I call it, but this is how John Mueller explained it. He said that sites that they already think are high quality, if they put out a page, they're going to try ranking it highly already because they trust this site with high quality. However, sites that have low quality, a really poor, in my terminology, a very poor quality score, they don't trust those pages, and so they may not send those pages any traffic. You have to get the entire quality of the site up first before then they will send that page traffic. And as we learned last week when Mike Pierce was here with his cohort, Brad, I think it was Brad as well?
Yeah, Brad. Brad
Avery, something like that. Sorry, Brad, I can't remember your last name because you just mentioned it once, but I believe it was Brad. Steve confirmed it was Brad because Steve was here with us last week as well.
I didn't understand a word you said last week, but I was here.
Yes, that's fine. I barely understood it myself, being the white hat SEO. But I did understand what they're talking about in terms of quality and trust. Remember, quality, trust, and relevance is kind of the same synonymous concept with Google. And so there's various things that can get them to think that you're high quality / relevant / trust you. And that can have to do with both the user clicks you get on the page, but also the content you're using in terms of making sure Google has to know that you are a valid entity, right? Google, after the Hummingbird update in June 2013, is ranking entities, not web pages per se. So not only is it company, Red Apples Inc. that sells red apples, it's Red Apples Inc. that sells red apples that is owned by Josh Bachynski, the CEO, who has a Twitter account here and a Facebook account here, and all these supplementary pages, which are part of the entity for Red Apples Incorporated, to which they'll rank in kind of a cluster, and then they'll choose the appropriate content based on what you asked for. So this is very, very important to do, and those guys last week may have even given away a free gift as to a black hattish way of how to do this. There's of course, all kind of white hat ways how to do this. Even Steve's Facebook stuff plugs into this as well, into defining an entity when he's making Facebook pages and sending traffic back and forth and things like that. It's kind of like a vote of trust when they see traffic coming from social. So this is all very important, all very interesting stuff. And finally, in terms of what's new in white hat and black hat SEO, of course, last week on March 8th, we saw something called the Fred update. Steve, you must be shaking your head and kind of laughing because all these SEO updates happen. And how often does an update happen for Facebook? Like once every 3 years?
Yeah, or they'll just change something and not tell you.
well,
you'll go into Power Editor and it's just totally messed up, or your page layout will be changed. They don't communicate very well.
Exactly. Well, Google doesn't either. They used to communicate very well, but then Matt Cutts quit as the head of search quality. He was replaced by, I think, Paul Haar. Paul Haar, I think, is his replacement. I think there's enough little clues that have been let out that we can guess that Paul Haar is the new replacement for Matt Cutts, the head of search quality at Google. He has not admitted that. He will not admit that. No one at Google will admit who the new head of search quality is. How do you like that? Like, what would you say if Facebook had a head of advertising at Facebook, but it was a private person? You weren't allowed to know who it was.
At least Google has support, Google Ads and things. I mean, I'm coming from an industry, Facebook, there's no support. You can't even email somebody. I mean, if you have a Facebook rep, it's easy, but for the average person. So I'm very envious of the state of Google in the sense of a machine. Facebook is in its infancy, it's very hard to deal with, and it is not as organized. So I would gladly accept not having the VP of advertising's name if I could improve some of the functionality of it.
Right. But that's a good point because it's so, I mean, Facebook has been around for like since 2000 or 2001 for a long time.
Whenever that movie came out.
Yeah, a little earlier than that. But the point is that Facebook advertising, and we're going to talk about this in a second, so I don't want to get to this now. I just want to mention it as kind of a teaser for people so that it's coming on later. Facebook advertising, as you say, is kind of in its infancy state, and that means it's kind of the Wild West. And yes, it's a good opportunity for people who want to learn this right now and start getting into it to get good traffic to their site. So actually, anyone listening to this who knows anything about SEO and knows how good it was back in 2004, how easy it was to rank, it's still 2004 for Facebook ads. Let's put it that way. But we'll get to that in a second. So anyway, I was talking about on March 8th, the Fred update came out. Now it's being called the Fred update, not by Google. Google won't even confirm an update happened, but by Barry Schwartz and those folks over at SE Roundtable and Search Engine Land. They're calling it the Fred update because of an offhanded remark that Gary Ilyish made. Gary Ilyish is another Google employee. He's a webmaster trends analyst in the Zurich office, the same office as John Mueller. Now, the Fred update at first they thought was kind of based on links because that's what everyone thinks. Links, something happens. They go, oh, it's my links, blah, 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 blah. But Barry Schwartz did some extra in-depth research into this, and he says he's looked over at 100 sites now, and he said 95 of those 100 sites were all very thin content, affiliate/AdSense sites with spun content or light content, or it's really crappy low-quality sites just made to either make sense, money through AdSense or money through affiliates. 95% of them were. So it's starting to look like the Fred update was probably based around quality, which is not surprising at all because they do rolling quality updates. The Panda algorithm is rolling now. It's an artificial intelligence. I think it's powered by RankBrain. It updates on a regular basis, and they have other quality updates that update on a regular basis. So that's what it looks like it is right now. If you had any SEO problems last week, by all means, email me, contact me, put a question in the chat there, and we will try to answer it as we can. Also, as I said at the top of the show, if you have any SEO problems, if you're having SEO problems with your site, or if you're having any problems with your Facebook ads, you can't get your ads to work properly, or you want to talk about, I don't know if Steve wants to get into more general Facebook questions, probably not, but probably more Facebook ad related. But if you're having trouble doing that, ask them in the comments. We'll try to get them. And if you want, as I said, you could also join the Hangout if you have a microphone and a camera, and you promise not to show us your genitals. Yes, I have to say that. I have been on these Hangouts before where people have come on, and I guess they liked me a whole lot, and they wanted to show me their various genitalia. I wasn't very impressed, to tell you the truth. I don't know why they were so proud of these genitalia.
If you're gonna do
Steve's
it, at
like,
least
no,
have
stop.
something.
La 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 la. Okay, so that's what's new in black hat and white hat SEO. So let's get right to it. Of course, we often have the debate on this show, white hat versus black hat, which is better, white hat versus black hat. But there's another aspect to that debate, and it's like, and that's Facebook, right? So Google is the main source of traffic, but there are other sources of traffic, and Facebook is another main source of traffic. And as we were talking about, it's kind of the Wild West in terms of Facebook ads. What was the stat you said that only X% of businesses on Facebook actually advertise on Facebook?
Yeah, there's 52 million fan pages, business pages, but less than 2 million actual advertisers. And of that 2 million, the most percentage are actually boosting posts. So they're not even doing direct ads. So it is literally the wild, wild west for ads out there right now on Facebook. It is in its infancy. I keep saying that every 6 months it's going to hit its peak, and it just keeps raising and raising. But it is definitely wide open. I actually kind of hesitate to come on these kind of shows because it's so easy for me to get my ads shown and for pennies, but in the interest of paying it forward.
well, thank you. Yes, it is. Yeah, guys, it's Steve can make a lot of money and do a lot of stuff on Facebook very easily right now. So you might want to pay attention and learn some of his tricks as much as he's willing to give out.
I would say trick number one is don't ever boost a post. Now, boosting a post will work. It'll gain you reach, but it really goes against the whole grain. We had this conversation about black hat, white hat. Now, I don't necessarily consider myself a black hat advertiser, but if black hat means doing things that work and going against the grain, then I would submit to being a black hat. If you follow Facebook's mantra, they want you to grow this community and get likes and smileys and engagement and have this really peaceful kumbaya place. But in the real world of business, I don't want a smiley, I want a conversion. And in order to do that, that's the flip side of it. I use the analogy that Facebook wants you to build an entire TV show just so that you can show your coffee mug and say, there's my product, click on it. I don't want to build a TV show. I just want to go into commercials. So that's what I do. And that's what Facebook ads allow you to do. About 1 every 14 to 18 spots on your feed is going to be an ad. So it's whether or not, who's targeting you is going to be in there, and that's the price that you pay for it. So it's definitely, like when you said the wild, wild west, I agree completely with that because people still
So explain a little bit more the difference. So Facebook wants you to make a fan page and kind of build it up and talk and be chatty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about something different?
Yeah, what I want to do is I want to take advantage of the social network. The funny thing for me is that we are looking at the largest social network ever invented by man, right? I mean, it's just 72% of Americans are on it, average of 15 times per day. So why would you want to go through all of that effort to just hope that a little bit trickles away from you when you can piggyback on that success and just put an ad right in front of your customer? It's the same thing as TV. Don't try and get on the TV show. Just put an ad on the TV. The people are there. They're looking at it. They're spending 52 minutes a day on Facebook. There's a stat out there that says 1 in every 5 page views in 2017 will be Facebook. So that even if you're not on Facebook, your customers are. So you should be putting your ad in front of them. And then we can get into the idea that it's interest-based versus keyword targeting, which is just a massive, Pandora's box for advertisers. But
let's talk about
the biggest difference.
Because it says that's a difference that, of course, a lot of SEOs are not. I mean, it's not immediately apparent, or that's definitely a whole different universe. So, so everyone knows what a TV ad is and how that works, or a radio ad works. Push marketing versus pull marketing, and SEO is pull marketing. SEO is keyword based. So they already have heard about it somewhere.
Yep,
right?
They typed it into Google that says.
It's not the very top end of the sales funnel. It's not like it's like nothing and then the top of the tornado starts, right? We're already in the tornado when we're doing SEO for Google, whereas they've already heard something about it to do a search. Yeah. But of course, you can get to them before they even get to the tornado.
Yeah. It's the difference between if your battery dies, you're going to go into your phone and type car battery. Boom, you're going to get it. You're going to click. You need it. The opposite of Facebook is it's just more long term. Instead of talking to somebody whose battery died, immediate need, you're going to be talking to somebody who has, who's looking for a car, and they're going to be doing it for 3 to 4 months or 2 months, whatever the sales cycle is in your product. But it's be able to target somebody by the clues, by what they like on Facebook, who their friends are, what they like, where they go on the website, third-party data. I mean, they're tapped into Oracle, they're tapped into Experian, They're tapped into Polk data. So they have this massive amount of information on their users, and it allows me as an advertiser to go in there and build what's called a custom audience. And that's a profile of somebody who would fit my product. And it allows me to put it in front of them before they actually either need it or they go and type it. And it just comes up in their feed, and they, and push for a conversion. And that's the custom audience part. You also can do, really powerful retargeting. Facebook allows you to put a pixel on your website, track visitors, and then what you can do is show an ad on those visitors immediately. When it first came out, it's like everything else, right? Email marketing started and you had 98% open rate, and then it trickled and now it's spam. Well, retargeting came out a few years ago. I remember first time I saw it, I was on Amazon, and then I was on the web, and I'm like, hey, Amazon knows that I was looking at swimming pools. Facebook does that same thing, but it allows you to do it in their feed and almost immediately. It's really powerful. That's where a lot of e-commerce guys are making a ton of money, because they're just retargeting their people directly on Facebook for a pretty low cost conversion.
Right, and I don't think people realize how important this is, because the key there, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the retargeting really allows you, and Facebook's database of information they've been stealing about you and watching you for years and years and years. They know you down to a T, and so you can tailor your ad down to a T. Of course, if you want to target red-headed people with mustaches in Mexico, this little part of Mexico, you can do that, right? You can get down right to the nitty-gritty.
You could target by people who've been to Mexico who have red hair and like coffee. You can target by people who think they might be going to Mexico. I kind of joke around and I say that if I was an advertiser during the OJ, I would have put an ad in front of OJ before he was in the white Bronco and saying where he's going. So you can go to that kind of level. And if you combine the retargeting ad, you combine the audience creation ad, and you combine your interest targeting, and you do all that and make a real comprehensive campaign, you have tremendous success for driving that conversion. Not to mention there are 17 types of ads you can run. So Facebook stock has 17 types of ad, each one with its own optimization. So you can go through and you can kind of piggyback those. That's a little bit of the black hat, would be kind of hacking a certain optimization to meet your needs. But when you boost a post, you don't get any of that. When you boost a post, you don't have a Facebook pixel. You don't have an optimization. You don't have any of that targeting. You have like a basic level of targeting.
It's essentially throwing money away.
It is definitely, it's throwing money away. Absolutely. And it's like buying a cord of wood to heat your house by going to Cumberland Farms and buying that little stack of wood. Sure, it's only $5, but when you look at the end of the month, people will say, well, I only put 20, I only spent 40. I did it 10 times, I spent 400. That same 400 would have quintupled, quadrupled, even tupled, whatever 9 times is, your reach and profitability. 19 tupled or whatever. So it's definitely, but that's what everybody's out there. I'm on my Facebook feed now, and I see these advertisements for learn how to get prettier Facebook ads. And I'll say to somebody, it's nothing to do with the ad isn't the most important thing. It's the targeting that's the most important thing, because you could put a blank piece of paper that says, new car battery. If the person's battery just died, they're going to click on it. So targeting is more important than anything.
So let's recap a bit. So of course, because you can Uber target it to exactly the people you want to see it and not everybody else. One, it's cheaper. It's cheaper just pound for pound compared to AdWords, Google's alternative, because it's a newer system. There's more people on it in terms of the social media kind of aspect of it. It's just cheaper because you don't have to do it blanket to 10 to 15,000 people to get 15,000 clicks, only 2% of which are actually people who might buy. You can laser focus it to the people that you want to do it to.
Much higher.
And so how to take us through just a step-by-step, is it an easy thing to do to take us through step-by-step how you would tailor it down to just that specific person?
The concept is actually pretty easy, but the implementation is a little tricky, because you really have to understand the ultimate goal. What's your conversion? And that's everything from, what's your average, do they convert on your website? I know you're an SEO guy, but I can show you an ad that doesn't even take you off your website. It's right inside of Facebook. So potentially you have a really horrible converting website. So then why are you driving traffic to it?
But let's say, for the sake of example, that we want to also get the SEO benefit.
Yep.
And so we want to drive traffic from Facebook to our website. correlation studies have shown, and other people have published this, that if you're running Facebook ads, you do see a big correlation in SEO rankings.
Yeah,
I'm going to guess it's
traffic.
because you're sending people to the website that like the website. If you're just sending crap traffic to the website, I don't think that's going to help. But let's assume that the website converts well, and we want to get clicks to the website. How would we do that?
Well, you would start with,
for example, if you want, we're running a campaign to get more clicks to my YouTube channel. We could actually talk about that and show how you're doing that, if you don't mind, or if you want to.
So we're trying to drive traffic to your YouTube channel. So we're going to use a video view, and that's somebody who's going to put a little teaser video of you with your dinosaurs and your funny SEO sign. It was actually kind of funny. He showed this sign, and it said SOE or whatever, and I said, "Hey Josh, I don't know."
It says SEO. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I
said maybe it was the camera angle, and he's like, "No, that was a joke." And I go, "Oh,
wait, hold on a second. I think I spelled that wrong. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe that's Spanish."
And the chest hair. It's the chest hair.
Yeah, the chest. Don't get me started on that. So we would just figure out who your target audience is. Who do you want to target? I mean, do you want to target? And I'd have that conversation with you. I'd say, do you want to target people who just to watch your video, or do you want to actually monetize it in some way? And then that would kind of change it, because I could go ahead and target people who have a blanket interest in SEO and show it to 14 million people, and you would get some clicks. But the real key is going to be in layering that, because you never want to just send an ad to SEO or whatever. You want to layer it so that you have a really complicated audience list, so that you're not just sending it to people who happen to have a wacky interest in it. You're also then going to want to target people who are going to convert. So what's your ultimate conversion? For you, it's, do you want to increase views? You want to get SEO audits? You want to help people with their SEO? So you could do things like target by title. Say there's a VP of IT technology out here right now watching this
VP
video.
Marketing or any search engine optimization specialist working.
So I would go ahead and I would nerd out all these little things, and I'd have a conversation with you, and I'd say, hey, what are the titles? And that'd be one of the things I would test. I would test by job title. And that you can do
a certain salary range.
You can do salary range. You can do, Facebook is tapped into Visa, so they know all your spending habits, and they're also tapped into Experian, so they know your credit score. So I could target by net income. I could target by estimated wealth. It's crazy.
Make sure you show my SEO video to only people with good credit scores. that would help me out.
That's funny. Who drive blue cars? So
I'm more than happy to give SEO knowledge to people, whether your credit score is good or bad. I was a student once too. That's perfectly fine.
Yep. No, where that comes in really heavy is the car industry. I do a lot of work in the car industry, and they want to target specific people. So they would want to target people with an 800 credit score with a different message than somebody with a 600 credit score. So it allows you to do that. But the idea is that you have to create this custom audience, and then you have to A/B test it, obviously, because certain creatives are going to work better, certain targeting is going to work better, demographics, and you would basically run these ad sets, run them out, puts a little bit of money behind them, and then when you find a winner, you dump a ton of money into it.
Okay, so we've been running this ad for like what, 2 weeks now, 3 weeks?
Well, we've been running. We ran a like campaign for your fan page, that kind of thing, for about 2 weeks. I did a little test ad. I think I threw $11 on it, and got now this is super hyper targeted, but we got 770 views at 2 cents. So I didn't even put $11. So that's 2 cents a view.
Right.
Now the person watched that, and at the end it was a call to action, and that's targeted. And then we would go through and figure out all different iterations of that audience and find out which one works better. Now I will say driving to YouTube is a little bit of a challenge, not a challenge, but kind of a pain for me, because I can't put a pixel on YouTube.
Right.
I would much rather drive it to a actual web page, like people out there right now. I put it in there, and then Facebook knows exactly who was in there, how long they were in there. And then I can also
the pixel is important. The pixel is important because it allows you to do the retargeting, and the retargeting is important because it converts much higher, right? When they see it again and again.
You can do custom conversions with those pixels. You can do up to 9. There are 9 standard pixels you can put on the site. So if I'm an e-commerce guy, I'm going to want to put a pixel for a page view, somebody who looked at a certain type of red shoe. But then I'm going to also want to put a pixel on somebody who went to checkout but left. So now I'm going to put them with an ad that maybe says, hey, 5% off your next order because they left the checkout. Or somebody who actually checked out, maybe I send them things that are, hey, that you just purchased a blue apple. Do you know that red bananas go really well with blue apples? Or somebody like you, I might send like a grooming kit to shave, your gorilla hair, something like that. He's not even paying attention. So
I'm paying attention.
you missed that whole. You missed the man.
He sent me a picture of this beautiful. I won't even say it, but anyway.
Yeah. So I'm just going into the. That's what, and you don't get any of. My point is, you don't get any of that when you, boost a post. So that's the depth. I mean, people out there should look at Facebook as an iceberg. The top is your fan page. The bottom is where the ads are.
Right.
It's cheap to get into in terms of clicks, conversions. You can get pennies and things like that.
So it's just bottom line. So then for this particular thing that we were doing, after 3 weeks, you've gotten 907 likes.
I ran that ad. That particular one we're talking about was actually one day. I ran 24 hours. So in 24 hours, we got 770 views at 2 cents per view. So that's that one particular ad. So then there's a series of ads that we're testing out to figure out really where your audience is, and we have to do it a little different because, like I said, I can't go back to that pixel. So I have to. I don't want to. You don't want to go too hard into it. Really start small. Start with $5.
Right. So you have to do a bunch of test ads.
You have to do test ads. You absolutely have to A/B test everything and look at it. And another thing you want to consider when you're looking at it is what are the metrics you want to look at? Black hat wise. Facebook talks about a relevancy score. It's a score from 1 to 10. 10 being, Katy Perry tweet. 1 being a used car ad, right? And the lower your score, the more expensive it's going to be for you to show it. But if you just stick with that and go, oh, my ad's at an 8, that's awesome. I'm going to dump a ton of money onto it. It may not be, converting well. It may just be well received.
Yes.
Again, I don't really care about smileys and share and all that stuff. Now, there is an organic component to a share, things like that. But I would challenge anybody who talks about engagement in the real world. Now, there's 2 conversations. There's the smiley, happy, la la land of engagement on fan page, and then there's people who want to make money. Now, if you want just to build it, your Budweiser, your Dove, you want to build that engagement, great. We can do that. But if you want to drive traffic to your site, you really just want to look at your page analytics and see that only 4 people went from your fan page to your website, and then realize that all the smileys in the world aren't going to work for you.
Right. Basically, all that money's being wasted. You can do brand advertisement till the cows come home.
Yep.
So they think very highly of your brand, but if they never actually go and buy anything, or you can't measure them buying anything.
Yep. Or they'll share it and they'll like it and they'll make smiley faces. So I mean that's so that's why you have to have a conversation and a comprehensive campaign to look at what's your ultimate goal, where do you want to be, how much do you want to spend. You don't have to spend a ton of money. It's about 10% the cost of a PPC ad to a Facebook ad. So if you're spending, $5 or $1 on a PPC campaign, Facebook's going to be that much less. The car industry is exactly like that. Insurance is like that. So it's just a cheaper ad.
So let's run a test then. So let's talk about a car ad then, for example.
Okay.
How much would, on average, if you wanted to put like a used car ad on Facebook, how much per click would it cost? Can we break it down?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at. I mean, I can pull up some car ads. You would now. A thing that I would say to you about that is necessarily, do you want to drive traffic through a car ad? Potentially, you want to use a different kind of lead form that came out in January of last year. Lead forms came out. Lead forms, anybody can find them. It's no secret, but that allows you to capture the information directly on Facebook without leaving the web page. So for somebody like that, you may say, I don't necessarily want you going to my website, looking at all my stuff, hoping you convert. I'm going to try and convert you directly on the Facebook page. So that'd be one of them.
Right. Well, just for the sake of comparison, because I'm going to go to Google, I'm going to find out how much it costs on Google.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were going to do like 2016 Camry, I can do that for probably 40 cents, right off the bat without too much optimization, and maybe get it down to the lowest I've seen for a car ad is about 17 cents, and that's really hyper targeted and really dialing it in. But that's per click. So if you looked at Google, it's going to be a lot. I mean, car dealers obviously know it's going to be.
Oh, I just did the search in Google, and although this is in Canadian, so this is the conversion rate's not that much different. Just get ready for this. You said it was how much? 17 cents a click?
17 cents is about as low as I'd say I could go.
On Google, it's $7.14.
Yeah. So. And I mean, so I'm shaking my head as an advertiser saying, why do you want to compete with everybody in your area on the exact known space for 2016 Camry when you have 72% of the population on a platform 15 times a day, and you can put it up there. So I mean, there's always going to be plus or minuses to it, but you also get the SEO boost, right? Because if I pay Google to give me Camry results, do they add that click from the AdSense word to my website into their SEO?
Well, it's an interesting question. So there have been some studies that have shown that if you buy some AdWords on Google, your organic click-through rate can go up, because if they click on the purchased ad, then that works into their personalization algorithms. And so next time you do a search, the organic listing of the ad they clicked will be higher, and you can get clicks on that. So that has shown that you can get more. And not only that, but also if you see two listings from the same company on the same search results page, it's like a brand bias, and that improves the click-through rate as well. And a higher click-through rate can mean higher rankings as well. But Google is very careful to make sure that it doesn't appear that buying Google AdWords gives you any ranking boost, although they have said nothing about, or are not denied in any way, that if you buy Facebook ads, that the correlation showed there was higher SEO rankings. They've not denied that in any way, or gone out of their way to dispel this.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say real quick, I'm not in any way saying ditch PPC, anything like that. It should just be part of your digital program in 2017, and especially if you're an e-commerce person, it should be a very large part of it. I mean, it's really taken off. So but what the reason why it's not massive right now is because Facebook itself doesn't necessarily want to promote ads. I mean, Zuckerberg will be on TV saying, he wants to promote a community, right? I mean, that's their thing. Right. So
yeah,
there's not even a support email for Facebook. So unless you have a Facebook rep, you can't even get it. So they're really not behind it. And that ties back into this Wild Wild West theme of somebody who wants to get in on it and get some low cost traffic and do so very easily. And we talked about car ads, 17 cents. I don't know last time you checked, but a car ad isn't very sexy or fun. So if you start doing, we do things for Harley, motorcycle, bike, things people actually like. I mean, concerts, I was seeing 1 cent clicks for a concert because people actually like it.
1 cent click for a concert. What kind of concert? Do you remember?
Like a country concert.
Okay.
So if you were trying, I don't necessarily know if somebody would get AdSense for that. SEO would be good.
AdWords,
but, you can drive a ton of traffic for pretty low cost if it's something somebody likes.
So like Keith Urban, maybe?
Yeah. Like, okay. So say like Live Nation, right? Live Nation wants to run an ad, and Live Nation is promoting Keith Urban. So you would go after the Keith Urban fans. You'd go after people who like outdoor concerts, people who like, wherever it is, maybe Utah or something, people who've recently been to Utah. You do this thing, but you can get pretty low. You start doing video ads, you can get, I've seen less than 1/10 of 1 cent on video.
Yeah, Keith Urban tickets are 64 cents.
Okay.
So that's 64 times higher than or more than what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And of course, you were talking about 17 cents for a car ad on Facebook, and it was for a 2016 Camry. And on Google AdWords Keyword Planner, I just checked, it was $7.14. Now, of course, I was Canadian, but the inflation, the difference between the two monetary systems are not that different.
Well, it's like 78%.
It's not 17 US cents to 7 Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
It's not a peso. Not quite yet, anyway. Maybe pretty soon, depending on what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next section here. And the next section is you. It's the lightning round, where I go and I answer all the questions I see here in the chat. And if there's any Facebook ad questions, Steve, if you don't mind jumping in to answer those, because I know nothing about Facebook ads, but you are the expert.
I have my Spark notes right here, so hopefully I can flip.
Oh, good. Okay, so the first question is, and this could be good questions or bad questions. I don't apologize or in any way advocate the questions. I just read them and then we answer them. So the first question is from Gaming for Show. They say, hey, Josh, I have a PBN. Should I add the URLs to different Webmaster Tools accounts? The answer is, I have no idea. I know a lot of black hats who put all their PBNs in the same account. It doesn't really matter. Unless Google is really angry at you, they're not going to come back at you and attack. But if you're super paranoid about it, then you shouldn't even be adding your PBN websites to Search Console to begin with, probably. whether it's your account or not. If Google really wanted to find out, they could just track your IP address, right? So at the end of the day, it's either, yeah, go ahead, do it, because Google's not going to care about you, don't worry about it, or you're super paranoid and you're like hiding it behind IP addresses in different countries and you're logging into Tor before you're going to your PBNs and stuff like that. It's either one or the other. I wouldn't even bother. I would just put them all in the same Search Console account. But again, I'm not really a black hat SEO. I don't regularly make PBNs. Okay, the next question, if I can see it, is, drum roll, please. Bob Green says, can I still ask a question? Yes, you may ask a question. And the question, I'm assuming, is, in WordPress.com, are custom links considered categories? Nope, I have no idea. That's the answer is blue. That's the answer. The answer is blue. I have no idea what that means. He says, oops, sorry, unrelated question. Thanks, I just realized that. Thanks, I know. And he asks, do people really click on Facebook ads? I know I don't click on them. That's a good question. So he asked, do people really click on Facebook ads?
Yep, they absolutely do. What you're going to find, though, is Facebook knows whether or not you do that. So the less you click, the less you will see. The more you click, the more you'll see. And that's also where it goes off into the ad type. Again, I mentioned that there are 17 separate ad types. So Facebook can optimize. Maybe you're somebody who likes to do smileys a lot, right? So if you want to get smileys, Facebook's going to put it in front of you. Somebody who clicks off the website a lot, that's a website conversion ad. So I mean, it optimizes for whatever type of person you're looking for, which is why you want to be careful. Website conversion is the most expensive type of ad generally. But it's if you never click off I get this all the time. People will say, why should I do Facebook ads? I never click on them. And I'm like, because you wouldn't get them. I go, but you got to look out. If you're standing in a room, there's 10 people, 7 of them are on Facebook probably right now, and most of them click. So not everybody does. And I would not advocate that it be your absolute strategy for everything, but it most definitely people click.
Yeah. I know. I never click ads, of course, either. But I'm never on Facebook, so I'm not the guy.
There's a little tip you can do next time you're
on
Facebook.
I'm not the droid you're looking for.
Yeah, and you're on and you want to and you see an ad on the top right-hand corner of it. There's a little triangle. Click that triangle. You'll see a little drop down, and it'll say, "Why am I seeing this ad?" Click on that ad, and that'll show you why the advertiser picked you. Usually, it's pretty generic, but it can tell you it's you're between 18 and 34, and you live near a certain town. Your interest is in grass or whatever, or because you went on their website, or because you like their
grass. You mean lawn care, or do you mean something else?
I tell you, you got to be careful with, because there's you can actually go into Facebook and see what it thinks you like, and it's some funny things, but which is why you really need to layer that targeting. But yes, to answer the question, yes.
Fantastic. Okay, next question. Bob Green asked again. He's asked a lot of questions here. Again, I don't apologize. I don't say these are good questions. I just say they're questions. They're giving me amusement anyway. He says, can you give some SEO tips for WordPress.com category site structure? No, I cannot. For a number of reasons. One, I don't do it. Two, I wouldn't suggest you do it either. I don't know if you're talking about, you said WordPress.com category site structure. So are you talking about like whatever.wordpress.com, making a blog on WordPress.com? Or are you talking about putting WordPress on your own site? I don't like either, to tell you the truth. I don't think that the whatever xyz.wordpress.com links that you're invariably sending to your money site are going to help you in any way, shape, or form. I guarantee you that in every single disavow file that anyone's ever submitted, WordPress.com is in there. Now, it could be, and John Mueller has actually said, so he's contradicted me here. John Mueller has actually said that, no, of course, WordPress.com links are perfectly fine. If you don't think they're spammy, then you can have them, blah, 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 blah. However, I'm still saying that if those links have any juice at all, and my super secret Black Hat SEO group has tested it and shown that if they have any juice at all, it's like the minuscule amountest of juice, they're barely helping you at all. So that's like, if you want to rank in any major niches, you can't just do that alone. You might have to do something else. And again, those are exactly the kind of links that I think Google is going to be easily finding. These are tactics that Google's well aware of and can easily find. Yeah, you might be able to, through some super black hat jiu-jitsu, get them to throw a little bit of juice at your site. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion, the amount of work it will take you to do it, and the amount of risk in doing it, and the amount of risk moving forward over time in doing it, just doesn't make it worth doing it, in my opinion. Now, Bob, if you're talking about WordPress links, like installing WordPress on your website, if you're talking about WordPress, the CMS, installing WordPress on your website, and what you do there for category site structure, well, there what you should do for category site structure is, depending on your website, it's what's called a silo structure. So for example, and this is a good SEO tip for anybody, it doesn't matter if you're doing WordPress or not. Let's say you want to sell red apples. Let's say you have a site called joshsfruitemporium.com, and you sell red apples, green bananas, blue pears. You sell all these different things. You want to have joshsfruitemporium.com/fruit/apples/red apples, or /fruit/bananas/blue bananas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You want a logical category structure. This helps train Google and expect what to find on your website and what you're about. If you sell lighting, you would want, whatever it is, some lamps.com site /outside lights/patio / whatever, Christmas lights / whatever it is. So that's the category of all the outside lights. So it's called a category structure, or it's called a logical site structure, or people call it site. Some people call this site siloing or silo structure. So I'm just going to white balance the sun that's hitting my eyes here. The sun. See if I can balance it. SEO. You want SEO from Josh. So I didn't really get any better. I don't really matter. So I'm sorry, my skin's translucent. It's like glowing, but
you're in Miami Beach.
So that's my answer to that question. Steve, do you have any comments about that?
No, not on SEO.
No, I have nothing to say. Good. Next, Bob asks, are you friends with Chase Reiner, or are you foes? He's the foe I'm the most friendly with, or he's the friend I'm most foeish against. You can choose to take that any way you like.
I think they're Batman and Robin of them.
Batman and Robin, maybe. Okay, so Dominique Moulton asks, what is the best source to learn more about Facebook ads?
Okay, there's a ton of information out there on YouTube that you can find out. A couple people that I really like for overall strategy. Gary Vaynerchuk is a great pioneer on what's changing, why you should get out in front of it. He doesn't talk technically how to do it, but he's good. There's also a site that I would recommend as a YouTube channel, Travis Patel. It's called Kingpinning, and he is a great resource for Facebook ads. I don't know why he doesn't charge for what he puts out there for content. I would definitely charge for what he puts out. But those are two things. It's out there. Just stay away from anybody who says, "Hey, bro," or "How's it?" In the first 20 seconds, or has a Lamborghini and is washing his car. Stay away from all of those, and you have to just sit through it and just muddle through the hour-long webinar and hope. But yeah, stay away from the "Hey, bros, we're killing it." Anybody who sounds like from Step Brothers. Anybody who sounds like those guys, man, I see them so much. And I'm actually a little plug.
That was the funniest thing I think I've ever heard on these videos. Yeah,
you should email me if you're really serious.
I have a lot of videos like that too, where it's like, "Hey, bro, do you want to make killer money in one day? I'll show you the secret, top secret." They just look at it, and I mean, you can just tell right away that it's fake. But so anyway, try those two, and then if you're real serious, anybody out there, I'm going to be starting a mastermind course, so you can email me, steve@BryceSourceMediaPlug.com, and I'm going to be putting some together for some serious. Plug away. Pluggy the dinosaur likes plugs. Yep. Rawr. Okay, so yeah, so they can definitely email you. There's a guy out there. You mentioned his name. You want to mention his name again? I might have been laughing. I love that guy, so I'm going to give him a plug. It's Kingpinning. He just gives away so much content. Now, granted, it is for e-commerce. He does like Shopify sites, but if you can kind of put 2 and 2 together and not get 22, then yeah, you can learn a lot from him. So you definitely YouTube. Just be careful with the pros. Awesome. Neil Cheeseman, who is a good friend of mine, has been listening to my stuff for a long time. We've talked a lot. He asks, would you run a video for all ads, or do images convert just as well? No, video definitely. Facebook has seen phases of what works. When it first came out, it was static video, static picture ads. Those have become almost like billboards now. What's really big is either video ads, which are great. They don't have to be overcomplicated. Slideshow ads you can build. Those work. Anything with movement. For 2017, I think movement is going to be in the forefront of low-cost conversion for Facebook. And one of the cheapest things you can do right now, any business, is do a Facebook Live.
Facebook is just promoting the heck out of those. So
Right.
you can, realtors, open houses, dentists, just Facebook Live, and you will get a lot of reach.
Interesting. So if you were, talk about that a bit more. So let's say you're a chiropractor, he's a dentist, you would just turn on a Facebook Live in your office and
Yeah,
like in your lobby when you're having a party or something?
Or if you're a chiropractor and dentist, you probably have a fan page, probably have like 1,200 people or something like that. When you post something, check a look at your reach. Facebook has silently reduced the reach of fan pages to around 1% to 2% right now. So 1% to 2% of what you post is actually being seen by anybody. So while they're talking on the left hand with, hey, posts, smileys and everything, on the right hand, it's a pay to play. They are not showing your content. A way to do that, kind of go around that, is a Facebook Live. You will see probably 50% reach on a Facebook Live because Facebook wants to ultimately be almost like a YouTube, a standalone channel. So they're really promoting that. So that would be something I would actively be doing that right now if I was a dentist or even a car dealer. Actually, any single business.
So how would you implement it? Like just have a web camera in your lobby and just turn it on, or what? Like
your customers, sure. Like, okay, like say you were going to do one, you could say, hey, it's Josh right now. I'm about to do a Facebook Live. I'm about to do my podcast. Now, if I wasn't the lazy advertiser, I would be doing it, but I just don't want to do it. But anybody who does anything, Facebook Live, put it on for 30 seconds, 45 seconds at max. That's when you're going to see that drive off. And show it.
That's an interesting idea, like realtors have open houses, right? They could turn on a web camera and just have the open house Facebook Living, and that would, is that what you're talking about? Would that get out to people?
Here's the thing. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. But remember the platform you're on. People are looking at pictures of lasagna, kids at the snowbanks, entertaining things. So show a person, show yourself. And have some kind of engage, something funny. Maybe I've done ads where I was having the person drive the car backwards while they were talking and the person was taping them. I mean, just anything that's unique, have them look at it. So say you're a realtor, go in there and say, hey guys, it's Stephanie at KLB Realtor, another great open house, check it out, and kind of do this and just get the people and start doing that. And you'll start seeing your, now granted, you're going to want to do that on behalf of your fan page.
You record that and send it out, or you would do
it live. You do it live.
During your open house, like lots of people are there.
Literally Facebook Live. Yep, you do that. So you're obviously going to be careful of your surroundings, right? I mean, you don't want to be in the middle of Dunkin' Donuts or something, but you're going to want to do that live, and you're going to want to do it on behalf of your fan page, not necessarily your personal page, just because of that, the benefit of it. But I think Facebook Live is an easy, if I'm going to give away a free tip, it's guys out there, start using Facebook Live.
Okay. Interesting. Jen Michelle asks, how are you finding out about how much an ad costs on Facebook?
You have to run it.
I think she's referring to when you look to see how much one of my ads cost.
Okay. So you would go into your ad manager. Again, it's a separate thing. It's free to sign up, business.facebook.com. Anybody can sign up for an ad manager and then do their ad account through that. That's where you get access to all the tools. And that's where you're going to start seeing it. And that's where it'll show you your money and how much you're spending, your reach and all that.
And the tiny amount of cents per click as opposed to the many dollars per click you'd spend on AdWords.
Yeah. But Facebook, one thing I will say is Facebook loves to take your money. So if you're in New York City and you target a 15-mile radius, they will show your ad to 6 million people and you will spend a ton of money and get nothing. So really be smart about it. Facebook, they love to take your money, but
go a few extra steps and specify some demographics that are going to be.
You have to layer. You have to look at your targeting.
Even just financially, like people. Like for example, if you're selling something fairly expensive, people who make less than $50,000 a year can't afford it, so you don't even want to show your ad to those people.
Yeah.
Yep. So you want to tailor it by salary at the very least.
That's why targeting is the key. And I'm not one that people always talk about. Oh, are you in the industry? Are you in the silo? To me, if you're a dentist or you sell Ferraris, it doesn't matter. You still have a customer. You still have an interest base. You still have a spend that you can put per customer. So it doesn't really matter what the industry is. There's a lot of Facebook ad guys out there who will only specialize in one industry. I don't necessarily need to know how long the new Camry is. I just need to know that the person buying it and who to target them, so that's another thing.
And again, it's really important. In my 2017 SEO video I put out, it's really important to understand the sales funnel. It's important for Google. It's also important for Facebook. If you don't know what the sales funnel is, watch my video or ask us or
That's actually how I got hooked up with Josh, watching that video. It's a good video.
There you go.
Little
Okay,
plug.
so Charlie Harridge asks, I guess this is for Steve, do you prefer brand awareness, reach, or local awareness?
Well, again, it would come back into what am I trying to do? What's my objective? They both have their pluses and minuses. Sometimes I can kind of hybridize them and use brand awareness for a certain thing because sometimes I get low cost clicks for it. But brand awareness and local awareness both are not optimized to drive traffic. They're optimized for a reach to show your ad. So if your idea was to promote an event, those are two great things. But if your idea is to drive traffic to your e-commerce site, those necessarily wouldn't be your best bet. So it's really take the ad type and look at what it's designed to do. The next level is, of course, you can piggyback and hack some of them around, but really just look at what you're trying to do.
Cool. Okay, so Jen Michelle says she's getting plenty of good traffic from Facebook ads. She'd just like to make it better. Do you have any just quick, literally 3-second tip of exactly what they could do to make it better? I mean, you've already mentioned a number of them.
It would probably be the targeting. I would look at even time of day. Potentially, maybe you're showing it to people.
That's a good one.
Clicking.
Time of day.
So you can do days of the week. I would take a look at your ad and break it down and say men versus women. What platform are they on? Sometimes you can find, well, I'm seeing a ton of traffic on women and it's costing 40 cents, but men are costing me 75 cents. So then, that's where the A/B testing comes in. So to answer that A/B test, just look at your metrics and find out.
Fantastic. Okay, let me see what else here. Okay, a question probably for me. I'm assuming it looks like an SEO question. So Grinsberg, sorry if I mispronounce your name. My last name is Bachynski. Trust me, I understand your anger. He says, hi, is it possible to recover after spammy markup for reviews on the site? What would be the first steps to do to resolve this manual action and maybe later get again showing rating stars on organic? That's a great question. I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that you can clean it up and get rid of the manual action. The bad news is that if you do that, though, if you have any quality problems, they might not ever trust your site again enough to put it back. So there's two issues. There's the manual action, and then there's the quality issues. If you get quality issues, like Panda issues, they'll remove any featured snippet you might have because they no longer trust you. If you can get up to 7 or 9 negative comments on that page, they can not trust you anymore, not display your featured snippet. So that's the first thing you need to watch out for. The second thing is what you need to do is make sure that your markup is all your structured data, your whatnot is not spammy. It's not, you didn't make it up. These actual reviews are coming from Yelp or coming from Facebook or coming from a place that actually is probably their real reviews. Especially if they've caught you now, you want to do that. And make sure your microdata is set up. There's no technical problem with it. You haven't done it improperly. There's no errors reported in Search Console. So you can get the, in my experience, you can get the spammy markup penalty you might have gotten in Search Console removed, but unfortunately, they may or may not put it back depending on how high quality they think you are. So you also have to be high quality as well. Here's a question for Steve from Arneon Media. I'm assuming that's a company, not a name. Steve, what is your take on the Facebook, on the idea that Facebook is listening to you via Messenger?
Well, I think they just released a statement saying that they don't track anybody. I wouldn't worry about that. I don't care if they are. To me, I'm not doing anything. But
how could they not be? I mean, they probably are.
The smart TV thing. I mean, yeah. How are they? I would just assume that they are. I would assume that everything you're putting on Facebook. I mean, don't forget when you on your phone, you're still logged into Facebook and you start doing stuff. You're on your phone. It has access. Look at the access of the app. I assume so. If you're a guy and you don't want to do, maybe you don't want to have Facebook.
I mean, it's only Facebook though. So sure, talk to your girlfriend, say dirty things to whomever you want. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Facebook is only going to start selling sex toys and things like that. They don't care about what you're doing.
People should not be doing right is sending pictures because I guarantee you those are getting out. So in terms of listening, whatever. But
are you saying that there's people in the back office in Facebook who are looking at these pictures and laughing? Is that what you're saying?
I think they may be. Some of them might have been on your podcast accidentally. on your hangouts.
Yes. Yes. I shouldn't have sent those pictures of my chest.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Coupons XXX. I don't know if they're just haven't thought of a name or they're actual XXX coupons, or I don't know what that means. I don't want to look them up and see something maybe I shouldn't. Speaking of naughty pictures. The question's for you, Steve. Any suggestions for running Facebook page for adult sites? Oh, that answers my question. So yeah, it's an adult site. Any suggestions for running Facebook ads for adult site? We offer discounts for adult sites, but we don't put any not safe for work content on their site. Is it useful brand-wise, etc.?
Yeah, I would say as a big yes to that. That is the black hat aspect of Facebook. And I would say email me at steve@brightsourcemedia.com. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I don't really want to get into it. Yes. Short answer, yes.
Well, you heard it here first, folks, that Steve knows exactly how to get prawn onto Facebook.
We have ways. Excellent.
There's a whole bunch of jokes I can make there, but I'm not going to. So coupons XXX, email Steve.
Tell him to email me.
And you can help him. He can try to help you out. Bob says, thank you for the silo tip. You're welcome. And what was they're asking, what was the name of that fellow you're talking about who was really good?
Travis Patel, I think isn't it Kingpinning? Hold on. Just YouTube Kingpinning.
Kingpinning, yeah. They said, is it Kevin Patel?
I think it's Travis. I'm pretty sure it's Travis. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. He's out of Florida. I don't know. I just love that. He's really good. Kingpinning 101. Yeah, okay. So the first thing that comes up, this channel is talking to you about, it's got like a K. He's bald. It's that guy. I'm pretty sure his name's Travis.
Okay, but it's Kingpinning and something Patel.
Yeah, I think it's Travis Patel. Hold on, we took the about. A good plug. He's a good guy. I really liked him. You can learn a lot from him. Yeah, he doesn't have his it's Facebook /groups. Kingpinning is his thing. I don't know. Just Google that. You'll find it.
Fantastic. We got more questions, so I'll just keep going with them if you don't mind, Steve. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. So Jim Johnson asked a question, and this is interesting actually from a debate point of view as well. He asks, do you know a way with Black Hat or White Hat to get in about 3 months, 80,000 organic traffic only? Now, that's a fascinating question because it's so vague. Normally, I would say that's too big a question. In what niche, in what industry? Like when it comes to SEO, it's like, well, what kind of site are you going to do? You need a little bit more detail. Yeah, there's plenty of ways in 3 months to get 80,000 organic traffic.
You could definitely buy it if you were, that kind of thing. But if he's talking about organic,
but that's the point. Is that he's asking both of us. My perspective is like, well, you could build a site and work really hard, and probably not. But your answer is sure.
I would. Well, there's things you can do in Facebook to get it organically, but you do have to pay to get it to that level. I have seen numbers like that. I've produced numbers like that, but it's not. You either can do it in 2 years, or you can do it in a little bit of time, but you have to pay. Basically that kind of thing. Once it's built and established, you're not paying, but it does take a little bit of build up. You can do it.
So we don't know the niche. So that's the only component in this algebraic equation that's missing, right?
Yeah, I would say if he's a life insurance agent, I'm going to say no.
Right, but just ballpark. How much would it cost to get?
Well, you have to work backwards. He's talking about 6,000 views a week is what he's talking about. What it works out. So that's 952 a day. I have definitely seen that. I've seen that for car dealers. So again, that would be, if we're talking about that's clicks. But I mean, even at 0.02 cents, that's not too much money, but there are strategies around it where you can do it organically. Yeah, you definitely can.
So this is a case where Facebook might be superior to SEO. There, I said it. Yeah. All right. Joe Priest asks, so here's a good question again that we kind of tantalized people with, but we didn't get too much into. So anything interesting in Facebook Black Hat? And your opinion on White Hat versus Black Hat Facebook ads? And he says mass groups and communities, automating, joining, quality auto posting versus just plain spam. What is the most interesting Black Hat Facebook tips you can give, or against the grain Facebook tips you can give?
One would be to actually have this conversation and not be relying on your fan page and posting. Just the idea of advertising directly is somewhat black hat when you listen to the mantra of Facebook. But that would be one of them. And then I would probably start getting into some spammy content and things like that, and who you're delivering your ad to and why. And, you could do things like you're a United States company, but you set up your account in Canada to save the percentage of the conversion because you can only do the minimum you can do is $5 per day. But if you do
Trump is coming after you.
Yeah, you can do. There's a couple little wacky things like that, but it's not anything like you're going to. You could scrape. I guess you could scrape fan pages of email addresses, and that's black hat. I don't do that.
Well, there was a trick you used for my campaign to get those likes really cheap. Do you want to mention what that is?
No.
All right. Well, then we'll just leave it out there, and people can be like, "Oh, how did you do it?"
There are some good. Yeah, you can email me on an email basis. I will tell you, Steve at brightsourcemedia.com, some
Fair
things.
enough.
But in the general public, I would probably say the black hat things are working really well. So I'm not necessarily wanting to go down that road.
Fair enough. And just so you know, for black hat SEOs, you're pretty much in the same boat. They always just give a little tidbit, and then you have to contact them, or they don't want to put it out there. So, but it's a very good trick. He got me a lot of likes for very, very cheap. It was an interesting trick. Okay. Ivan Juris asks me, how would I go about the link building campaign for a local client? It seems impossible to get legitimate links for small local businesses because most of the time they don't provide that much value, I'm guessing is what he's saying. Well, Ivan, that's a very good question. For me, after the Pigeon update, again, I always try to exploit newer algorithms and not the old linking algorithms for the simple reason that younger teams in Google are making them without as much security involved as compared to the linking algorithms, which are old teams have made them have lots of security involved. So when it comes to doing local SEO, here's a tip so good that I should keep it secret as well. But because I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. 360-degree tours. If your local business has a front foyer or an office, or anything that can even look like a front foyer or office that doesn't completely look disgusting with rats dragging pizzas around and things like that, get a 360-degree tour of it, because that gives you an enhanced listing, and the enhanced listing does definitely boost your rankings. I've ranked local sites on that alone. That's it. In small to medium competition niches. So when there was 5 to 6 competitors, I've gone boom, close to the top of the pack in the map pack, right? The three map pack. Just doing that alone. Just making sure the website is about topic XYZ. You get a 360-degree tour, bang, they're up there. And then from there, it's easy to get a Better Business Bureau link, Chamber of Commerce links. You want links or references or citations or even just mentions. It doesn't have to be a do-follow link from reputable businesses. So if there's a Chamber of Commerce in your area, if there's the Better Business Bureau, you want Yelp reviews, and then reviews are the big thing. Sorry?
What about networking? Do those count, references from networking, like BNIs and things like that?
Yeah, sure. Like breakfast groups that meet in the morning. Yeah. If you can get a link from their site, that's perfectly fine. But keep in mind, everybody and their dog will have already tried to get those kind of links already, right?
Okay.
And so they could be really spammy. There'd be like 40 links coming off this site already. And that's not where that's a good point. Thank you, Steve. That's not where you want to get your links. You want to get your links from the highest, most reputable. You want to get an Amazon local business service listing. You want to get a Yelp local business service listing. You want to get Facebook reviews. Reviews are way more important than links. And so just doing that and having a good website that converts really quickly, that's the most important thing. Having a good website that converts really quickly, not a blog, a local site where you can buy a service, because that's what they're looking for, presumably, right? Buy a product or buy a service. You have to have a good website that converts them, that has a very low bounce rate, that you're converting really highly at. Any traffic you send, it has to be, even from Facebook, has to be doing that as well. Don't spend $1,000 on Facebook and send crap traffic to your site. 1, you're wasting your money. 2, you're going to make Steve cry. 3, you're going to make me cry because the SEO is not helping there in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Then the reviews. If it's a local business that has an office, get a 360-degree tour and enhanced listing. If it's like a limousine service or whatnot, you can't do that. But then again, the reviews and the ratings are super important. And then get links from like Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau, official things. You have to pay money for it, or be part of be part of the Chamber of Commerce or something like that. That would be what I would say. All right, we've already gone over here, but we still have the same amount of viewers we normally do. So I guess you guys aren't super annoyed that we're gone over. let me see if I can answer these last questions here. Bob Green asks another great question. This is a fantastic question. I'll give this one to Steve. It's an SEO question. Steve, do tags have any effect on SEO?
Tags like price tags on products?
I don't know. I don't know what he means. If you mean HTML tags, yes. HTML tags have a very large effect on SEO.
I would go with that.
Yes, good. Thank you, Steve. If you mean WordPress tags, like you're tagging blog articles and you can find them in a tag category, they're not great for SEO. They can add thin pages. They can add keyword stuffing. I would remove them. If you're making a new site, I wouldn't add them. You can no index them and see what happens. Preferably your rankings won't go down. Your rankings will at least stay the same or probably go up. But to tell you the truth, you don't need to worry about it because Google already knows about WordPress and they make tag pages. That's not the kind of duplicate content that really you have to worry about. The kind of duplicate content you have to worry about is if you're trying to rank for red apples, the product red apples, and you've got like 10 pages trying to hit the same keyword. That's the duplicate content you really need to worry about. And yes, there is a kind of a penalty for it.
I have a question. What about if you name your picture? Like your picture is red apple on the, and you actually go in, like and you use the plugins. Does that help SEO at all?
Yes, it can, definitely. It'll help you ranking for Google image search. I don't know how much it's going to help you rank for Google, like getting that page ranking for red apples. Yeah. But it's another little signal that you can send them that says, hey, we're all about red apples. Even the image is called red apples. Mm-hmm. But don't have a picture of like this dinosaur here that is not red apples and call it red apples and it's a picture of a dinosaur. That'll just piss Google off.
Okay.
Grim Spider asks, I'm new to blogging, about 80% complete with my first site. Should I publish the site before being 100% complete to start getting views and clicks? Okay, so here is the thing. Blogging, in my opinion, is dead. Blogging is not the way to do SEO, in my opinion. Now, like for example, Steve, if he wanted to run a blog, that wouldn't be a half bad idea because he's got interesting stuff to say on a topic that not a lot of people are talking about. How to do kind of really like guerrilla brute force Facebook ads, black hat Facebook ads, if you will, like really efficient kind of split testing and stuff like that. Not a lot of people are really talking about that. So that would be a good thing to do, but he'd have to make sure that everybody loved his blog. He'd have to make sure that it converted really well in terms of people read it and it absorbed it. They would have to be getting likes and shares and plus ones naturally. Otherwise, the quality is just not high enough. So I made a video on my YouTube channel last year, and it's still relevant for this year. It's called How to Not Do SEO, and blogging is where I start saying don't just run a blog and think you're going to rank because of that. That is so dead. That tactic is dead like dinner. Now, because I have Steve here, I can say this, and Steve, you can chime in if anything to chime in or not. I can just answer the couple last questions and we can leave. Is that could work very well with a Facebook strategy. You could drive Facebook traffic to your blog and not care whether you rank in Google. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, you can do a couple things. One, a blog would be easy content to have on your fan page. I'm not a super fan of having a ton of content on your fan page because I know that people don't actually go to your fan page, so it's not really important. But you could definitely auto post to your fan page. There's some things you can do to try and get organic stuff inside of your fan page, some likes and things like that. And you will see a trickle down of people going from your fan page to your website. I would say if you find something that, say you have 1,000 people on your fan page, you post blogs every time, one blog got 10 likes, that might be an idea for something you might want to turn into an ad.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I don't think posting content, like a lot of people auto post content to their fan page, hoping that it's going to help their blog rank or something like that. I don't think that signal is going to help at all, especially when no one's enjoying the content.
Yeah, I can say for a fact that there's, other than trying to keep a blogger in employment, just posting your fan page is not really doing anything for you because look at your insights. I mean, check how many people are on your page, and then more importantly, check how many go from convert.
Right.
Again, I don't care if I have 10,000 people looking at my page. If none of them click, call, email me, message me, do anything that brings them down the sales funnel, there's no interest to me. But if I find something that has a lot of engagement in it, I might turn it into an ad, and that would be a good little proving ground.
I agree. I agree entirely. Okay, folks, thanks very much. Sorry, we can't get to the rest of the questions. It's too late. Steve and I are gonna fall asleep and not be able to answer any more questions. So let's move on to the very last segment, which is goodbye. It's the final segment. It's where we say goodbye. Steve, do you have any final thoughts? Do you want to impart to people any last kind of 30-second stuff?
Yeah, listen to the video, and also just a little plug, Steve at brightsourcemedia.com. I am actually going to do a mastermind course, like you mentioned, Guerrilla, no BS, no bros, and just really get some money. So if you're interested in that, email me.
Steve Fantasia is your bro, but he's not going to say, hey, bros.
I'm not going to say, hey, bro. I'm not going to. I would actually like to have the opportunity to really talk about things and not to bro it up.
He's not going to show you his Ferrari and drive around town.
So no, I'm not going to do that.
Fantastic. Okay, thanks a lot, Steve, for being here. And thank you all for watching and paying attention. Again, if you have any questions about SEO, you can always email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Bachynski, and you can find more videos like this where we give more tips and tricks. I give out SEO leaks, SEO experiments, both in the White Hat versus Black Hat podcast, and also my regular show that I've been doing for years, which is SEO Hangouts with Josh Bachynski. With that, I will wave goodbye. Say goodbye, Steve.
Bye, Steve.
Perfect. And we'll see you guys next time. And thanks very much for watching. And good luck in the SERPs, and good luck in Facebook, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye-bye.